Hey man, how's it going? I hope you're good, and thanks for hopping on today. It's a, a privilege and a pleasure. I was trying to say the two at once to talk to you because, as you know, we've been connecting over the last 18 months. Like with you, I've probably been a bit of a super fan of yours for a long time. I've been following OMG. I learned a lot of my stuff from Alex Becker, who went through OMG originally. That's where he got started when he left the Army or Navy or whatever it was he was in.
Air Force, in fact.
Air Force. There we go. It was one of them. So, yeah. And so obviously we've got to know each other quite a bit over the last year and a half. But what we've got, obviously what I was going to bring you on today for is that we've got something coming up together, which is pretty exciting. But so we'll get to that. But what I was going to do is ask you about your journey with, like with OMG, with SEO and stuff like that. So, basically, start wherever you feel best.
Yeah, I know it's all kind of wild, Paul. And of course, I want to give you a tip of the cap. Of course, you got involved with the science. There's some artistry involved with when it comes to YouTube as well. At least some practical artistry, we'll say. But I think you really got inspired by Greg Morrison and what we did with OMG. Wonderful community through people like you, Becker, of course. Thanks for your service, Alex. Of course, we were very friendly to the armed services members. We have Dan Anton's a former Army Ranger. He's one of our partners. But yeah, it's kind of a wild journey. What I can say is that rather than sit around and talk about, my rags to riches background, I didn't grow up in an easy situation. I grew up in, real poverty, real danger, a lot of violence, trailer parks and violence and crap like that. Powdered milk was a norm. But I've really thrived, and I've thrived through monetizing free traffic through the search engines with clients, affiliate marketing, clients paid for my Rolls-Royce Dawn. I have a Rolls-Royce Dawn convertible. I pay for it in cash, all client money. But I also use it for affiliate marketing, for e-commerce, free traffic from the search engines, from Google. Of course, we've taken massive advantage of YouTube. That's something that you've really made a huge impact on. So I've had success, we've had success, but more importantly, our members have had just really unbelievable success. We have very underground group of apprentices. We wanted to kind of start quiet and fresh behind the scenes. We did a quiet mastermind in Amsterdam. I was actually in contact with you like shortly before that. So I was reporting on, when you said 18 months ago, that was just when we had just gotten back. And of course, COVID was just hitting. Thank goodness we got that mastermind in. Our apprentices started making money. We started making money. Of course, people feared for the worst, but the reality is that at this point, I can just say this. I mean, you're one of the first people in the world breaking the news on this now that I think of it. Seven-figure per month agencies, SEO agencies, Google SEO agencies, from our tiny mastermind, there's only a small handful of people in this mastermind, only a few more than seven. 7 out of 7 of them use our blueprint and our software for everything, for their results, to get clients, to service clients. These are mom and pop agencies, small mom and pop agencies that we started from scratch. I was reporting to you at the beginning. I said, hey man, Paul, I think it's going, we had our first $20,000 a month over here. We had our first $30,000 a month over here. But, of course, COVID's getting started. So who knows what's going to happen? Now the results are unbelievable. And then, when it comes to affiliate marketing, I just got word again, you're kind of the one out there breaking the news. Greg Morrison did $240,000 in the last 2 months in commissions with a C, like cash commissions, because they're from SEO. So this is not from paid ads, just on, and this is a called your shot and hit it type of thing. And, Paul, you've been really following along. I've been saying, hey, this agency stuff is blowing up for us. Hey, this affiliate stuff is blowing up for us. I've been, you've been following along, rapt attention. You've been part of the community, following it along on this mastermind journey that we've had.
Totally.
Jason Calori, $1 million last month with e-commerce, with truck parts of all things. all based on SEO, 180,000 of that from his Google My Business listing. So it's like everything collides, right? Like literally his Google My Business listings, he has Florida stores. So he has his online selling truck parts just with national SEO results from Google and YouTube, right? But then also at the same time, even utilizing Google My Business, because we're using Google My Business now for e-commerce more and more by far, and affiliate marketing is not far to follow. I'm sure, as you realize. So it's an exciting time to be alive right now. I don't know that I could say there's ever been a time when there's just been a tiny mastermind with just a handful of people in it, far less than 100, like a tiny fraction of that, where 7 of them just got to start 7-figure per month agency, not to mention the multi-millions with affiliate and e-commerce. It's an exciting time. I think that the webinar that you've been setting up with us, I think it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, definitely. I think the thing as well is, I think, I was chatting to Mike Filsame about this recently, who whoever's watching this, by the way, Mike Long and Mike Filsame, they are doing GrooveCon. So if you're going to GrooveCon, then
it's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah. I'm not going. I should be going, but I think most people know why.
The ravages of travel, and and that's one of the things that, like, I can't even imagine, just being in this world, the drive to just be able to at very least work from home, because nothing else works. I'm trying to travel right now for very important personal reasons, and it's crazy.
I think that's a shame, because I'm dying to meet you in person and some other people. I've got a lot of connections personally in America right now, more so in America than I have in the UK. And I've not really met that many people in person. But, taking that aside, in terms of COVID, I think we were all petrified, weren't we? You take Groove as an example, that exploded because of COVID in some ways. That had a
and if it hadn't been, realistically speaking, I know a lot of people are controversial about the vaccine and this and that, but like, it could have been so much worse.
Yeah.
But the reality is it's all flooded online. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And the rebound has been, you mentioned Machine Gun Mike. And he said to me at the beginning of COVID, he was like, look, Zoom just went from, like, how the heck do we get from 10 million to 20 million customers in the next, several years or whatever, to like 200 million customers in 1 month.
Yeah, they just went, absolutely.
And it was like, but that was the sound of the internet marketing world of e-commerce, affiliate marketing, Google My Business, the efficiency of local. All of a sudden, efficiency became paramount. And God bless, a lot of innovators just got out there and tore it up. Paul, you were an innovator. You were somebody, I remember talking to you at the beginning of things. I was in lines at a Whole Foods where I had to be 12 feet apart from the next person, and they would like spray you with stuff to get inside. And this was before, this was like at the very beginning of face masks, and it was crazy. And you were somebody who were like, really, you were called by this. You were like, hey, I know I can kick it into high gear. I know I can do a lot more to streamline things for people in various, places in the world. Making different moves, whether it's affiliate marketing, whether it's, I know you've been a top Groove affiliate, but you've also been a big affiliate for a lot of other programs. And so, a lot of your customers, of course, have branched out and so forth. But a lot of that came from you really wanting to kick it into high gear and take that 5-year plan into a 1-year plan, right? It's basically, or a 6-month plan or whatever. It's basically what you did. Well, a lot of people in the economy did that. A lot of people in tech, a lot of people in, so the point is, all of a sudden there's a big harvest out there, and it's a very few. Where they say the harvest is plenty. The workers are few. There's just not a lot of people out there right now with these top skills to take advantage of things in a systematic way. If you go back to one of the things I think about a lot when it comes to success is the idea of a franchise. When I started my first business, it was a game store. Some people know that about me, but not a lot of people. A lot of people know I was a Magic champion, a Magic the Gathering champion. You can look me up on Wikipedia or on MTV, or sorry, on YouTube. You can look me up like Michael on MTV and see me playing on MTV, or I was in Sports Illustrated, all this stuff. This was like this big mental sport. And when I started making some money in it, my friend David, who I've done Rainmaker and OMG everything with, he suggested I start a game store to kind of pay it forward and help people, but also get started in business. And I did that. It was 1998, the craziest thing, a long time ago, because I'm in my my mid 40s, and that was, oh my gosh, a long time ago. I can't even, 25 years ago. It's the craziest thing, right? But it was my first business. It was my first online business because I quickly registered theendgames.com. You can look it up on Wayback Machine. You can see the older versions of that and of pokepage.com. I created that for Pokemon. I just sort of had a knack for internet marketing, but I saw that other people could really use that edge. And I was able to take some of the innovations that I realized, some of the things that David Mills came up with, and we created something where we were ultimately able to come up with a final mastermind, a final small group, a very small group. It met up in, it's the craziest thing because it really did. It met up in Amsterdam, and it was just weeks before, the bottom fell out. Right. But thank goodness for it, and we met there right after we got back. We met in New York City, with just a handful of our apprentices. We had this formula. We really cracked the code on all these ways to just take, this hyper time advantage, like Neo in the Matrix, when it comes to, like in both ways, both the knowledge, but the software. I mean, we have a software that nobody knows about. It's exclusive. We have 50 full-time, top-notch, brilliant employees working around the world full-time exclusively on this. It's an SEO non-parallel. I could call it a link software, but it's not link. It's real sites where real traffic come. I mean, Paul, you've seen the results. You've been inside. We have a single Instagram. We have one Instagram. I feel like if I had to pick one social media property on the whole world, I might pick this one as the most valuable. One Instagram that just focuses in narrow and shows what happens when you turn our software just to one narrow niche business, heating and air conditioning contractors. Right. We have dozens of heating and air conditioning contractors making an additional $20,000 per month, all the way up to $500,000 per month, real documented math from Google My Business listings right now, during, this whole time during a lockdown and COVID, where they're growing their business, they're adding bands. We have the painstaking scientific proof that takes you all the way from that first, search that people do, right? That they do on their phone, that first quick search that they do on their phone. Yeah. And then they tap that phone number and make that phone call. And we track it all the way through the phone call. We listen to the phone call. We tell them, you don't have to do all this stuff. We do this stuff. We're a little obsessive, but we track it all the way to the invoice. So we know the exact value that we've provided that business owner, and all the way to that beautiful 5-star review that they get for doing a great job. Because we only work with great people. And this is, I'm geeking out on, it's so demonstrable, so clear cut, 7-figure businesses, mom and pop, that started brand new during COVID.
Literally no knowledge, no nothing, just came to you guys.
Well, I know. I mean, it was a whole mix. That's the whole thing. It was a massive
whole mix. Some had knowledge,
that's
some
the
had,
best.
Yeah.
But that's the best.
What they got with you was from
the whole, and it's this tiny number of people. I mean, just this small, and that doesn't include the millions of dollars in affiliate success, doesn't include the millions of dollars in e-commerce success, yet all with a 90% overlap. But it's all very much, when I started that first game store, I'll tell you one thing I did figure out. It was smart. Not to break my arm patting myself on the back, but I made myself look like a franchise. When people walked into my game store, it looked like a cool, people were like, oh, is this like a new national franchise? It looked like GameStop, basically. Yeah. It's called the End Games, and it really looked very much, if you looked at it, like GameStop. Yeah. And we weren't video games. We were like, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, which of course is gigantic now. But anyways, it had that advantage, it had that edge. One of the things that we wanted people to have is it's like that you have the power of a McDonald's franchise without that $1 million ask,
Yeah.
You have that solidity, that step-by-step nature. We're going to really get, one of the things that you asked me for, you told me your community is really big into step-by-step. They want to know recipes, get into details, really not afraid to get their fingernails dirty.
Yeah.
A great reputation. So as we've been preparing the webinar that we've been working on you with, a lot of what we've been diving into, you mentioned earlier, Becker has the military background. Thanks for your service, Alex, in the Air Force. We have one gentleman, Dan Anton's with us, former Army Ranger in America. That would be, like your, I don't know exactly what it would be, your special forces in England, but it's Green Beret, like that kind of thing. And Dan has this disciplined approach to things. He's really prepared. He calls it his recipe. That people are going to love the SEO recipe. You're going to see that breakdown. You're going to see the 7 times over 7-figure funnel reveal, the reverse ROI calculator, a whole bunch of stuff. It includes real world SEO. Actually, Dan has a double lesson because it's just not the recipe. He really is getting into details on SEO, on how Google My Business works, and so it's going to be lights out. I'm excited. We haven't. This is something. It's been underground for over 6 months. We did as you mentioned, we did the live event. That was something that we took some time on. We got a very small initial group in. Of course, the success has been legendary. We wanted to take our time with that, but we're ready to kick it into high gear for 2022. We're going to be minting. I don't want to say minting millionaires. Millionaires are going to be minting themselves though. In our mastermind, they're going to be, we're going to be firing it up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I want to give you some context here as well, because
so
I developed my system based on something you guys were teaching years ago, right? So where you've developed since then, what you were teaching then, I got it from Becker, but Becker got it from you, right? So that was kind of like the ladder,
it's all very intentional.
The way up that I got it, because he had a course called SourceWave, and it was all stuff that you guys had all taught him, and he was very still well connected with you guys at that time, and you were all working together. But basically, what I took was basic SEO. So I don't do any of the stuff you guys are doing right now, which is kind of cutting edge, and it's that stuff that's kind of the next level. But the stuff that we do, right?
But what you're doing is brilliant. I love what you're doing.
It's amazing, but it's like now if they was to tie in what you've got with what I've got.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Think of what they could do. That's what I mean. It's like what we can do is amazing, right? And we focus in on just one.
I love how you focus on YouTube. It's so wide open. I tell people, one of the things I say, I'll probably wind up doing our webinar. I'll be at Cocoa Beach at the live event, like you said. But I'm in Miami right now, and I'll just
look at that view.
And it's aspirational. I'll tell you guys, guys and gals, there is money flying around all over the place. And I grew up drinking powdered milk. Spam was like a big treat at my house. We would eat out once every few months. It would always be at Denny's, which is like a little diner, and we would. My mom would tell us what we were going to order, and she would leave like a $1 tip, and her hand would shake when she would put that dollar tip down. And so I get it in a certain way, I really do. But at the time, I just couldn't see that there was money anywhere. Like it felt like it was nowhere. And regardless of what things were like before, now during these conditions, the need is so great online. Like the need for people who idea workers online, idea entrepreneurs, the bleeding edge. We tell people, you win, then you attack. You build or you beg. We're going to show you how to build something of extreme value. You win, then you attack. We don't send people into battle. Good luck with a wing and a prayer. You're not coming here for a rah-rah-ree, kick them in the knee speech. Yeah. That's not what we're about. It's not us. We're about science. We're about philosophy from the standpoint of seeing things clearly and correctly. But we're about science, and we're about incredible success. The members of our tiny, small mastermind that we put together have such phenomenal success, and we're putting it together for you. There's going to be lessons to be learned. There's going to be a path for you to take forward to really blow it up. It's going to work incredibly synergistic. You folks, if you've taken a dabble, and by the way, you almost might want to say to me, well, how do I prepare? Well, I'll tell you, one of the great things to do to prepare is to take stock of what I've been myself pouring through Paul's. I actually happen to own all of them. Paul's YouTube courses, because a lot of the foundations and fundamentals that you're getting, and that discipline approach to both the discipline approach that Paul is using to explain to you how to do something, but of course you realize that same lesson you can pass on to another, to a partner, to a highly focused VA, virtual assistant. It's all wide open for you right now. So one great way to prepare for this webinar we have coming up is even to take stock in what you have. If you have all of Paul's training, or even part of it, some of the bonuses he's put out there, take stock of those, think about them, because that's going to help you build up a framework, and really get you even further ahead. The YouTube is wide open. It's once again, I'll just to go one more time. To the view, YouTube and Google, like that's the blue ocean out there. It's the blue ocean,
the biggest ocean. And also because YouTube's come such a long way in the last 10 years. Not only that, you've now got all the tracking messed up on Facebook ads. So SEO, YouTube, what you're doing is
and now, the way they cross over,
now opening up even more, because we've got this kind of thing where everyone's like, well, what do we do now, right? What do we do right now? If I go and run a Facebook ad, I was literally just on Facebook before this call, and somebody had posted, they spent $420 on one lead because all the they obviously had more leads, but the tracking wasn't tracking them. Look at that view, guys. Look at that. Wow.
But what Paul's saying is right. It's a blue ocean. I mean, it's right now that iOS 14 update just rocked them like crazy. And it's really more than that. Like, it wouldn't even matter. Like, we are in the post lockdown, whatever you want to call it, era, where the internet has exceeded the importance of all other marketing, advertising mechanisms. It's so by far blown them out. All of them are just rushing to be. It's sort of like when Justin Bieber became like the new big star, then all the other stars would want to be around Justin Bieber, which is smart because he's a big new star, right? And so it's like everyone wants to be around the internet, right? Like when you watch TV and radio, listen to radio, they talk about the internet. They talk about, go over to YouTube and watch this video, and go on our Twitter and go on our Instagram. Like literally, it's like they're rats jumping off the ship. And they all want their internet. It was like I was like listening to this music video from like a new music star, and like the name of like the producer, I think, is literally like Internet Money. Is the name of the producer. But I think this is actually somehow like either a major producer or rapper. I'm trying to figure out who the heck they are. But they're like Internet Money. But like, and it's like, but the new stars are being minted vis-a-vis social media, vis-a-vis YouTube. Like that's where it's going. It's all, and now it's wide open. And while other people are like looking backwards right now, like this is the era. This is the season. Right, we're coming up. It's Q4. We're going to make decisions on our life, where we're going to be 12 months from now. And a lot of people are looking backwards right now. And I'm in my mid 40s. I grew up in total abject poverty and violence.
So did I, by the way. Yeah, both come from.
There you go. You've been there, right? You see it, and it's different when I say poverty and violence. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I don't want to get into it, but
no,
and
me neither, really. No.
And I've made 7 figures through 5 different presidential administrations, and 8 figures through 4. And it can be done. I did it ethically, and I did it all with free traffic, either from the search engine, from Google, YouTube, and affiliate marketing, building my email list. And now is the time. People come to me, they say, Mike, you've made this money all these eras. When's it going back to the way it was? And I tell them it is never going back. It is going forward.
So I just want to pull on something you said earlier as well. You know, we're talking about Justin Bieber. Not that long ago, actually quite a while ago now, because he was a bit younger. You know, he was a young star, wasn't he? So when he became famous, he was on an interview on MTV. I'll never forget it. This is before I even knew about YouTube, right? Yeah. And he was on interview on MTV, and they said, if you could give any struggling artist one piece of advice,
YouTube, right? Because that's how he got his start.
Yeah. He said, if you can give anybody out there,
I got me some love for Justin Bieber. I think that guy is dope.
Yeah, but they said if you could give it anyone any advice, YouTube, right? What is it? Yeah, what his exact advice was, completely threw the interviewer because she didn't expect this as an answer. If you can give a struggling artist any advice would it be? He said, tag your videos.
Ever to have 5 #1 albums under the age of 19. For heaven's sake, my friend. It's not bad, is it?
Thank you.
And all this happened because you were discovered in 2007 on your own YouTube channel.
Yeah, on my own YouTube in Canada.
So if kids want to set up a YouTube channel, do you have any tips for them?
I would just say learn how to tag the video right, because that really, just put cute kittens, because a lot of people search cute kittens.
Tag your YouTube videos.
That was his actual one advice to all struggling artists. Tag your YouTube videos correctly.
But it's actually strategic.
Yeah.
Scientific.
Yeah, I bet if you Google it, you could find that exact. Yeah.
No, but that's kind of beautiful. And by the way, tagging was that was when was Baby? I mean, let's just look it up. Justin Bieber Baby. That was probably 2013 or something like that. So right. Justin Bieber Baby. Let's just see when that is. Yeah. So that's obviously YouTube. Amir, let's see how many views. Amir, 2.5 billion views. What does this guy know he's talking about? Wow.
Yeah.
2010.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
February 19th, 2010. And you know what? I'll tell you what. Tagging was brand new. The idea of tagging on you.
Yeah.
Because what you would do is they were riding the backs of other music videos. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Is that you could because back then
you could get your videos shown up next to the biggest stars in the world if you were
like Rihanna would have a music video, Drake would have a music video, whatever, and you would tag their video, and then if you had something compelling that people liked, it would ride on the piggyback of it. That's what it has to do with science. I mean, it's a wide open day today. Paul has put himself and his community, not talk to you about you like you're not here, Paul, but in a unique position where we're going to really be able to show you some lights out stuff. Coming up on this webinar, we have a number of modules. You're going to meet Michael Teslin is going to be the leader of the webinar. He's somebody who built a brand new 0 to 6 figures per month profit business during COVID, during the dark times. And he had to really look. I mean, it wasn't lucky. He had to look. There were long, dark moments. He was in New Jersey during lockdown. He felt like his business might buckle. He really, really wondered. Now he's turned it around. I think they're around $130,000 a month. We have much, much more than that coming for you, Paul. So we're going to bring the noise. I'm excited about this.
So by the way, guys, just to give you some context here, Mike doesn't often do these webinars. Now, I've been pestering him to come on and show my audience because he's busy. He's busy with his students. The thing is that Mike will send me these little pings. He'll be like, check this out, right? And he'll see obviously he can't send this out as sensitive data, but he'll just show me stuff, be like, check out what my student did last week, or check out what so-and-so did last week. And I get these screenshots of, people's accounts, what they're earning and things like that. And it's like, wow, some of this stuff is, what he's able to do, what he's able to bring to the table. And I'm not just saying this, right? When my business sort of exploded at the start of COVID last year, when I was working with Mike Fulsame, the first person I reached out to was Mike. And this is the first time he's actually had a chance to get round to doing this for us because he's busy, right? But he's loving what I'm doing. He's loving what.
Well, although we spent like several hours in development, in
several hours in development,
leading up to it, Because
that's part of your. And that's part. We're going to be totally transparent here. This is part of. You want to know about me. You're not going to just come on and just do these things with anyone.
No.
You needed to know me. And I respect that so much because I'm the same. When I look around and see what's going on, I want to know. I already knew you. You didn't know me, right? Yeah. I've known you for years.
Well, what you've done though has been great, and with your community. And one of the things I love about your community is that it's written all over, just like my community is written all over Google, yours is written all over YouTube.
Yeah, we've been preparing for this for 18 months. This is something that's going to have a massive impact on your lives. This is going to have a massive impact on your business. And, if you think I'm good at what I do, everything I've got started with Mike and Greg and Joe Marfolio and the team that they've got over there they're just amazing. So, you want to be there. So anyway, that sounded a bit salesy, and it's just because I'm passionate. I'm genuinely...
Well, but it's worth it. I mean, this thing is going to be lights out. I mean, and I've got to give Paul credit. I mean, he's twisted arms. He's asked for our most lights out. We have multiple modules we're going to be teaching you. We're going to be introducing you to Rainmaker, which is extraordinary. We have this tiny mastermind, and people are going to love it. It's the right place. It's the right time. Like I said earlier, money flying around all over the place. Jump on this webinar with us. It's going to be lights out.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Mike. Can't wait to see you then. And yeah, you know where the link is, guys. Go for it, and we'll see you then.